Okay guys, welcome to module number 1 of the Mindset series is called Becoming the Creator of Your Life. Cool, mysterious title. So this is the first module of a series of 5, and it's really important that we go through this one first and build upon, because each module does build upon one another, and it's sort of a series. So, common issues that we notice. A lot of the time we don't understand why we are the way we are. We don't understand why the same problems, roadblocks, challenges, obstacles, etc. keep showing up over and over and over again. We just can't seem to figure it out. Why does this keep happening? So we often forget about what we truly want. We don't think it's possible. A lot of the time we've tried, we've failed, we've tried, we've failed. Our whole relationship with trying is we fail, so we're too scared to try again. We become deeply addicted to who we are. And even when we know that we're doing things that aren't really supporting our best interests, because we're so addicted to them, they're so comfortable, they're so normal for us, we do them anyway. The biggest worry is that we're going to repeat the same patterns, have the same problems and issues keep showing up forever and ever, and never really create the changes that we really want. So the truth is we want to understand why we are the way we are. Understand the patterns and the belief systems that have really been driving how we act and really holding us back. We have to connect to our true wants and desires in life. Be unattached to failure and fall in love with living in this uncertain, uncomfortable place, because that's where all the things that we want are going to be possible, and we can actually achieve them when we're in this uncertain, uncomfortable place where different things happen. So we want to step out of any conditioning and actually that isn't supporting our growth, and create our own belief system that actually supports us moving in the true direction that we want to go and living our best life. Ultimately, we want to take on a growth mindset and become a creator of our dreams and desires in life. We want to be able to create whatever we'd like to have in our lives. So the point is that subconsciously we've got a whole belief system that really shapes how we make decisions, how we act, what we believe is possible for us. If we think about what we want without addressing our subconscious beliefs and understanding them, then what we decide that we want is really going to be dictated by our deeper belief systems. So when we understand our stories about ourselves, then we have the power to change them. You can now create a belief system that's actually going to support you having the things that you really want in life. So the iceberg analogy. Our conscious mind operates around 5% of the time, and our subconscious mind is operating around 95% of the time. Part of our brainstem called our reticular activating system ultimately operates as a filter of our thoughts, and it only lets into our conscious mind or our awareness what our subconscious mind believes. So it's like you can't work past your self-image. If you truly believe that you're fat and that's how your life's going to be forever, for example, then every time you try and be skinny, it's going to feel wrong. And you're not even going to see opportunities to become skinny. It's not even going to be in your awareness or be allowed into your awareness. It's going to feel wrong to even think that way. So, an experiment was done on a group of people. Some who believed they were lucky, others who believed they were unlucky. This is a really cool one. So, an experiment on a bunch of people who were psychoanalyzed, and sort of when they understood their deep subconscious beliefs, found that part of the group truly believed they were unlucky. The other part believed they were truly lucky. And when this group all walked through a shop front, and there was a $100 bill on the front doorstep, and the ones that believed they were unlucky walked straight through, didn't even see it, didn't even come into their awareness. The ones that believed they were lucky walked straight through, seen the $100 bill, picked it up, you beauty, my lucky day. It confirmed what they knew to be true for them. Really interesting stuff. So, consciously, I want to lose weight. Subconsciously, you can't lose weight. You've been fat all your life. Absolutely. And where most people focus is, how do I lose weight? Where we should really be focusing is, how do I lose the beliefs that are keeping me overweight? Or how do I create some beliefs that are going to actually allow me to become skinny? So if you want something to change in your outer world, you need to change your inner world first. Absolutely. Where do our beliefs and our self-image come from? How does this stuff form? How is this stuff created? So the first 20 years or so of our lives, give or take, during our child years, we're essentially like a sponge. So we absorb everything in our environment, whether that's good or bad or whatever that is. So beliefs and habits from society, relationships, health habits, what's possible, what we can achieve, our career paths, etc., etc. We absorb everything. We inherit a lot from our parents. Genetics is definitely a lot more than just biological. It's mainly belief systems and habits. So in terms of, when we're growing up and we're going through being a child, we become what we see. That's all we know. So we look at our parents, we're looking for love, support, guidance, direction, and ultimately we look at our parents as being the epitome of what's possible. And we look at them and we see what they do and we absorb what they do, and we pick up things like our food habits, relationship habits, stress levels, exercise habits, sleep habits, ultimately how we think, our identity, our self-image. That's a big part of what's forming in these first 20 or so years of our life, is we're trying to understand the world. We're trying to understand who we identify as in this world. So that's really starting to form, and we really pick up a lot of stuff from our parents. A lot more than just that, like ultimately how we think, what we think is possible, how we react to different things, etc., etc. So you've got to ask yourself, did you inherit any interesting beliefs or habits from your parents? Maybe some that aren't really supporting your growth or supporting you in really going the direction you want to go. I know I always catch myself out doing little things and be like, oh, shit, that's what mum used to do. Wow, what the hell? I can't believe I'm doing that. So it's interesting. Another thing to really look at is the type of relationship that you have with your parents and your family. Really interesting one to look at. So if we look at what the ideal relationship between a child and their parents is throughout child, which very rarely is the case. So say we've got obviously the child looking to their mother and father, looking for support, love, direction, guidance, etc. And then we've got, say, the mother, who is more the feminine energy and is more inspiration. So, creativity, chasing your dreams, expanding your mind, that crazy, emotional, feminine, inspirational energy of let's figure out what you want in life and step into your inspiration. And then you've got more the masculine energy from the father, who is more about validation. So, you are enough, you're good enough, you can make it happen. Go and get it. Push yourself, make it happen. Follow your inspiration. It's like if we've got that inspiration from our mother and that validation and, you are good enough from our father, we follow our inspiration and we back it up with the masculine and make it happen. That's all we really need in life. And through the first, 20 or so years of our lives, we're truly reliant on our parents for that. So, we're dependent on our parents to get our inspiration and to get the validation. But this very rarely does go exactly this way. So you've got to ask yourself, how was or how is your relationship with your parents and your family? Did you or do you truly feel loved and supported? So during childhood, it's very important for us to feel love and support from our parents. Very important. So when we feel like we haven't been given this, or haven't been given validation, love, support, etc. that we need, we can start to hide parts of ourselves and just show the parts of ourselves to our parents that we think they will approve of. We don't want to be disapproved of. We don't want to be disapproved by our parents or other people, as it really does develop into. So basically we learn to hide parts of ourselves and act in a way that we know is going to be approved of. We ultimately start acting how, okay, if I do this, I know that's going to be okay and I'm going to be approved of. So this can really result in us living a life where we really start to act in ways that are going to give us that external validation or that external reinforcement from things outside of ourselves, whether that's achieving, whether it's doing, etc., or also people to make us feel good. Because without that external approval or external validation or external reinforcement, we feel like we're not good enough. So my story, when I was a kid, my experience as a child was I truly felt like my mother didn't love me. And then I didn't learn to love myself. So I remember when I was a kid, it was little things like, my mum and me, we argued a bit. We didn't say I love you for quite a long time. Or even if we did, it really didn't feel like it was meant on an emotional level. I remember being at school and I'd fall over and scrape my knee and I'd be like, oh my God, this is so bad. And mum would be like, you'll be right, you'll be fine, mate, put a band on it, get over it, you'll be right. And, I'd see the other kids at school fell over and hurt themselves and their parents would come over, oh baby, you okay? Kissing and cuddling and getting all emotional and being so sort of loving and caring. And it was like, I just didn't get that from my mother. And because I didn't get that from my mother, it's like I didn't know that. I only knew what I seen. So it's like you don't know what you don't know. Because I didn't know that, I didn't learn to have that. And that played out in a really interesting way throughout my life. And it led me doing a lot of things that ultimately had me trying to get that love and affection and emotional connection with other people outside of myself. And it led me going down a path where I did a lot of things that weren't true for me just to get that feeling of love and get that external validation that I was loved. So what happens is our beliefs become reinforced throughout our lives through the different experiences we have. And then what happens is they become even stronger and they become even more conditioned into us. So, for me, for example, felt like I didn't get love, support, connection at school. At home from my mother, and maybe felt I was not worthy. And then, went through school. The kids, when I was in school, I just sort of floated about and got along with everyone. I didn't really, truly step into myself. My whole experience was when I voiced my opinion, or when I truly, started to be who I really was, I was bagged out. It was negativity. It was this sort of stuff. So I learned to go, oh shit, I'm not going to say anything. I'll just please everyone else and just be who I need to be to get along and to keep the peace. Felt like nobody liked me, or I was really disconnected from my truth. Then this wasn't so much the case for me, but a lot of people will go through life being really flat out, being really busy, doing lots of things to sort of avoid listening to their thoughts. Actually, I definitely have had periods of that in my life. We just go, and as soon as you stop, you realize, oh shit, I don't feel very good. And then you realize, oh, I need to be doing things to feel good. Oh, hang on, that's interesting. So I need to be always getting that external reinforcement that I'm good enough, just to feel good. And then, my partner cheated on me with someone else. Then it's like, oh, it must be my fault, it must be me. And that did happen for me. My partner cheated on me, and it was a really interesting experience. But then it felt like for me, no one loved me. And the end result, but ultimately the result right from the start of this that's become more and more reinforced through this experience is I'm not worthy, I'm not valued, I'm not good enough. Every time I try and be me, I have a negative experience, so I'm just going to avoid being me and be, someone else who just keeps everyone else happy and keeps the peace and does what's easy and makes everyone feel good, which ultimately leads to me feeling good. So feeling not good enough can easily become our normal. And we constantly need this external validation to feel that we are good enough. So some signs that you may have low self-worth and seek approval and validation from other people. You say yes to doing things you don't really want to do. You often say sorry for small, silly things like, why did I even say sorry for that? You avoid conflict, feel anxious if other people aren't happy. You laugh just to fit in with other people. You offer your time to other people when you're busy. You're busy. You pretend to be interested in things you don't really even care about. You break your values for other people, and then you feel regret afterwards. You feel responsible for other people's emotions. You feel guilty when you take care of yourself. You find it really hard to say no. So if any of those sort of things pop up for you, self-worth is definitely something to check in on. So what sort of tends to happen is, we create a whole heap of stories that really support our deep down beliefs and make them okay for us. So in this case, a couple of the stories could be, I just really struggle to find time. I'm always so busy, I just can't find the time. Or, I just love helping people. It really lights me up. I can't say no. It makes me feel good. I feel good when I'm helping other people. But then when we get to the truth is, when I have a disagreement with someone, I feel like shit. And I really don't want to feel like shit. I feel guilty when I put myself first. Changing means I'm going to upset some people, and I can't do that. I don't want to do that. I really don't enjoy conflict and that sort of thing. If I achieved that, if I really stepped into my potential and did all these awesome things, people are going to look at me, they're going to give me compliments, it's going to put me in the spotlight. That's going to feel wrong. I don't want that. That's really uncomfortable. And ultimately, it's that I don't feel good enough. I don't feel good enough to do that or achieve that. So this is, if you're telling yourself those kind of stories, it's really interesting to go a bit deeper and go, oh, hang on, what's really going on here? So we can also adopt various beliefs throughout our adult life in the same sort of ways but which we do when we're a kid. And especially when we're still operating from that I'm not good enough mind space. So when we're operating from this fixed mind space, it's also very easy to give our power away to people of authority. taking their word as absolute truth and then adopting a form of confirmation bias throughout the experiences that we have from then on. So in this case, someone has back pain. They go to the doctor, and the doctor goes, oh no, it's really bad, it's never going to be the same. And you're like, oh crap, my back must be stuffed. So you rest for 2 months, and as soon as you stop resting and you start doing things again, the pain comes back. Oh no, why is the pain back? Try chiro. It helps, but ultimately the pain comes back again. So, oh no, it's back again. I try physio for 6 weeks. And it does improve again, but you finish and the back is still painful. It's still giving you issues. It's like, oh, I've tried everything. I will always be the same. I'll always be in pain. Professionals can't help me. My back is stuffed. But ultimately what happened through that whole experience is we let that experience go, oh, these people couldn't fix me. I must be stuffed. They know more than me. They're better than me. I'm not good enough, etc. So, a story from me, and this happens so often, is during school. My teachers I didn't really enjoy my experience at school with teachers. A lot of the teachers thought I had ADD, and maybe I do, who knows. But in terms of my experience through school, it was constantly, Yonah, you don't listen. You don't listen. And really putting the spotlight on me in front of the whole class. I can remember feeling absolutely humiliated. And ultimately, I took on this belief from my teachers that I was stupid. I thought I had ADD. I thought I had intellectual learning problems and difficulties and whatever else. And, it was like when I started to try and move into things that I really wanted, when I thought, okay, I actually want to be smart. I want to know cool things. I want to be able to teach people cool things. It was like when I started to read a book or something, I just had this really negative relationship with reading. I hated reading through school. And it was because, reading was something outside of what I believed. I took on this identity of, I'm dumb. I can't be smart. And, I started identifying with that and then acting as if. And, ultimately it was like, if I want to be smart and be able to teach people cool things and do cool things in life, I'm going to need to read. But I'm going to have to change that belief that I've adopted and let someone else take, I've given my power away and let someone else instill a belief into me that I was stupid from what they thought, their experience of me. But yeah, it's really interesting. So this sort of stuff can really happen and then throughout your life really run its course. So it's really interesting to dive a bit deeper and start to understand this stuff. So whatever your stories are, the stories as to why you can't have the things that you want, you've really got to understand them. You've really got to dive into them and really see, connect the dots and go, this is how that's come about. And if that happens and then you stay in a fixed mindset or a fixed mindset around any of this stuff, it's going to be really hard to create any kind of change because thinking this way really creates huge limitations for yourself. Things like this is how I am, blaming other people for your problems, giving up easily, avoiding challenges, etc. Thinking that external things have made you this way, being threatened by other people's success, thinking why does this always happen to me, all this sort of stuff. So what we have to really do is we've got to let go of any ideas and be open to learning. We can't attach ourselves to different ideas. If we attach ourselves to some kind of ideas, what happens is then we start to identify with them, and ultimately when someone challenges that, we tend to prove and defend as to why it's right. So you've got to be really careful about what you say after I am. A simple example of this is when someone goes, I am a vegan. Or, it could be anything. It could be, let's just use that example just for simplicity's sake. I am a vegan. And it's like, okay, right. But then what may happen and what does happen in some situations is that kind of diet doesn't work for everyone. And if someone identifies as being that way, but then it's clear that there's some deficiencies coming up or some gastrointestinal issues or whatever's going on for that person, but they've identified with that, they'll find every journal article and every scientific study to prove that, no, veganism is the healthiest way to eat and whatever else. But it's like, yeah, okay, maybe for some people, but definitely isn't for you. So we've got to be careful about what we say around I am. We've got to let go of ideas, let go of being fixed on certain ideas and really step into an open mind and go, okay, cool, I just want to search for truth rather than attaching to belief systems. So you want to think about the rubber band analogy is like if we were to hold our, or trying to create change without addressing our belief systems and without opening our mind up and taking on new belief systems is like trying to hold a rubber band outstretched with our fingers forever and just hold it there for the rest of your life. So it's like as soon as we lose attention or willpower gives in or we get tired or whatever happens, our fingers just return to their normal shape and the rubber band contracts. So this is like, trying to create change. As soon as, if you try and lose weight, but deep down you're believing that you can't do it, and it's not possible for you, you might lose some weight, but then it's like going to come back and it's going to be like trying to drag a tire behind you forever. You're just going to end up stopping and going back. So we really have to address these things. If we don't question our beliefs and then change them, we'll continue to project our past into our future and have the same results show up over and over and over again. So we go, beliefs ultimately influence how we think. You can think positively, but deep down, if you know it's negative, it's not really truth. It's just you're trying to think positively. So beliefs influence how we think. Our thoughts influence how we feel. Our emotions. Emotion drives motion. So emotion determines how we act, which ultimately determines the result. How we spend our time determines how we get what results we get, which typically will reaffirm a belief. So we really need to change the belief, change the cycle. So, do you want things to stay the same, or do you want to move in a different direction? This is the question you've got to ask yourself. And then if you do want to move in a different direction, are you willing to let go of your stories? Because this isn't easy. This can be really hard. And it can challenge everything that you believe to be true. It can be really heavy. So this might shift your whole reality upside down when you go on this journey. So you've got to be prepared to do that. If you want a different outcome, you have to change your stories. So why can that sometimes be so hard? And why does change feel so hard sometimes? We become addicted to who we are. We know ourselves as our current self. Our social circles also know us as this version of ourselves, and the whole environment we have around us is set up to support us being this way. We love familiar. Familiar gives us certainty, and it gives us gives us certainty about what we can expect, which gives us a feeling of safety. Certainty and safety is basically one of our highest human needs. So Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, or my little spin on it. Look at the bottom in terms of survival needs, safety and certainty, and that mainly is ultimately things like food, water, shelter, sleep, etc. But we get this psychological fear around safety as well, and it really, because that is such a high need for us, that's why it can feel really challenging. But the other thing is, love, support, connection, significance, esteem, knowledge, understanding, all this other sort of needs that are required. We're meeting all of them now as the current version of ourselves that we are, with the current environment we're in, with the current social circle we're spending our time with, etc., etc. Esteem and significance is a really interesting one, whether we're getting that from the external world or whether we can get that from within. Because if we want to go to this place where we can create whatever we want, we really need to be getting esteem and significance from within and not needing anything outside of ourselves. The reality is that's why it's so hard. But if nothing changes, nothing changes. So we have to create some kind of change. And change is created outside your comfort zone. The brain loves familiar, so this is really uncomfortable. It's really hard. But there's part of you that knows it is right, and that's the part of you that you really have to connect to and start listening to all the time. Ultimately, what we want to do is, in the comfortable sort of fear zone, it's uncomfortable to step out of that, but we obviously have to step out of that. And we've just got to get used to feeling uncomfortable. Basically what happens is, we get uncomfortable, it's not much fun, we've just got to keep pushing, just keep backing ourselves in our head and have the right internal talk. Just keep going. And ultimately what happens is we start to become comfortable being uncomfortable. It starts to become our new normal. And ultimately we can get to a place where we love it. We just absolutely love it. It takes time and it's freaking hard work. You got to keep pushing. But ultimately we can get to this place where we're just detached from everything and we're open-minded to anything that could be possible. We breeze through all the different ups and downs through life. We don't get dictated by emotions or any of this sort of stuff. We've become a creator and we can create whatever we want in our life. beaming with confidence. All validation comes from within. We don't need anything from the external world. So you've really got to step into this uncomfortable place to start to create change. We have to shift the way we look at things. We have to start looking at things through a different perspective, through a different lens. So taking on this growth mindset, and rather than going, this is how I am, go, I will choose to be how I choose to be. You know, rather than blaming other people or avoiding challenges, it's like looking for opportunities to grow, looking for things that you're not good at and diving into them. You know, knowing that you're responsible for your problems. Seeing things that external things haven't made this way. External things have allowed me with a lot of different opportunities to grow. Being inspired by other people's successes. Looking at different experiences that you've been through, and rather than thinking that they've happened to you, you're looking at opportunities to go, hey, what can I learn here? How can I grow from this? And accepting and learning from criticism. Criticism's awesome. So much room for growth there. So, you have to give up every story that stops you from being how you really want to be in your life. You have to change your stories and actually make them stories that are going to support the narrative that you really want to create. Support the direction and the things that you want to create in life. So back to that other scenario before, if this guy had came into it with a growth mindset and had really had his power, had taken his power back, he may have came into the situation going, I want to fix this back pain. And he goes to the doctor says it's bad, it's never going to be the same, and he goes, all right, I'll find another way. He rests, it still comes back. What can I try next? Tries the chiro, helps, but it comes back. All right, no, I need a different approach. I'm going to find something else. I did physio for 6 weeks. It's improved, but it's still there. No, all right, I'm getting closer. I will be pain free. I haven't found the right approach yet. What can I try next? Maybe Yonah done him. That's my little plug. No, but maybe. So it's a whole different perspective. He's looking at the scenario of, I'm going to get this, I'm going to make this happen. No one can tell me that I can't because I'm going to make it happen. He's got his power. He's taken his power back. So imagine if you were to reconnect with your inner child, the part of you that was just a free soul and looked at the world as endless possibilities before, all these different things happened in life that sort of dictated how we do things, and we let all these different belief systems come in and stop us and influence us and dictate how we did things. Imagine if we could step out of that, step back into when we were this baby child, and now reparent ourselves. And reparent ourselves the way that we'd like to be parented. Pretty crazy what could happen. So self-parenting is this concept we really want to adopt. And it's taking full responsibility for ourselves. And it's choosing what beliefs we want to condition into ourselves. So it's time to step out of any conditioning that isn't supporting us and create a new belief system that really supports us in going in the direction we want to go. And basically an adult is someone who's fully independent, doesn't need anything from the external, can absolutely step into their own inspiration and then validate themselves and step into their masculine and back their feminine and basically step into their inspiration or create and be inspired and all that sort of thing, and then back themselves to follow through on their inspiration and really make it happen. So we've got to step into whatever belief system we want to create, ultimately a growth mindset where we can achieve all sorts of different things and then back ourselves to follow through with it. So imagine what could be possible if you did that. If you actually created a belief system that truly supports you in having the things you want to have and going in the direction that you really want to go. That's what we're going to do. So how do we make this happen? So you want to download the module, go through it. So the first part is really about identifying your current beliefs, identifying what you've picked up from your parents, what you've picked up through education, what you've picked up through the different experiences you've had throughout your lives, and really understanding, okay, cool, which of these aren't really supporting where I want to go? What of these beliefs are really limiting my ability to be able to step into this direction I'm wanting to go? And then we want to really become a creator and really take on this growth mindset and basically go through these beliefs and shift them. And we want to actually take on a new belief system and turn all the beliefs that really aren't support us going in the right direction into beliefs that are going to support us going in the direction we really want to go. So that's the module. Print the booklet out, actually book in some time for yourself. Don't just be one of the people who watched this and got a little bit inspired. Print the booklet out, book some time in your diary, schedule it, go through the workbook and actually get value from it. Then what you're going to do is, follow what's in the workbook. We're going to condition a new belief system into ourselves that's actually going to allow us to really go in the direction we want to go and have a lot more things that we want in our lives rather than having a lot of the things that we don't want. All right, thanks for your time. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next module.